Snake Eyes is the new G.I. Joe movie spin off kind of origin story. And I saw it in theaters yesterday. I apologize for this review coming late. I was busy. I did not care for this movie at all. Let's state my feelings on G.I. Joe. I like the characters from G.I. Joe. I'm a fan of the franchise. I like the 80s cartoon, which isn't very good, but I have a soft spot for it. I really like that show. I like, the comics and different stuff. I'm a fan of G.I. Joe. However, the G.I. Joe movies are all bullcrap movies. See, the first one was terrible and not accurate to G.I. Joe at all, and then G.I. Joe Retaliation was better, but still not like a good movie or a good movie that adapted the characters well. And, well, this movie is not very good, but I'm going to give you a mild spoiler warning in the sense that if you don't know anything, if you want to know anything about this movie, click off now. I'm not going to spoil things that will ruin the viewing experience, but if there are things that you want surprised about, if you don't want to know, I'm mostly going off of stuff in trailers or stuff that should be obvious. But yeah, this Snake Eyes movie is bad. Really bad. Because I watch this movie and I see some good things here, but a lot of this didn't work because, first of all, this is an action movie. And the action is terrible. It's all shaky cam. And a lot of the shaky cam is really bad in the sense that, like, someone will be walking and they're shaking the camera and it's like, and people there, I know there's people like, what's the problem with shaky cam? The problem with shaky cam is it is a lazy way of filmmaking where you can't see the action. A lot of people go, oh, I can't see the action. Well, here's the truth about it. You're not supposed to see the action because there's nothing actually being done. It's a clever way of doing nothing while showing something, but you're actually showing nothing. It's lazy and it looks bad and it's hard to watch. I started zoning out from the movie because I was watching the film and I was like seeing this shaky cam type action. I'm like, I don't care because I don't even know what I'm supposed to be focused on because it was so bad. It was some of the worst shaky cam I've ever seen because usually shaky cam is, again, just a lazy way of filmmaking. And it is here too, but it's also like you can't see what you're supposed to be focusing on within the shot. It was that bad. It was atrocious. And this movie has a lot of action, so it's kind of like it looks terrible. They also lied to people. I'm sure you've seen these posters. I know 2 theaters in my area that had this poster for the movie Snake Eyes, and it's him in the helmet. Also, in the trailer, they heavily advertise this shot where he puts on the helmet. Well, here's the truth. That is the last shot of the movie. There's also a mid-credit scene, which is also shown in the trailers. So these people who made this movie knew what people wanted to see, but they didn't give us a Snake Eyes movie. That was accurate to G.I. Joe or wore the helmet, any of that stuff. Which I'm not totally against that because, again, this is an origin story for the character, but it's like the fact that you revealed all that in trailers and lied to people. That's the scummy part, right? It's okay if you want to do this origin type thing. Cool. The other problem with this movie is the main character is a humongous douchebag. He is responsible for multiple deaths within this movie and multiple other things that happen and casualties and things like that. And there's a part where he goes, "This is my fault," and I'm like sitting there as an audience member. I'm like, "Yeah, this is your fault. You caused all this shit that happened within this movie because you." And it's just a bad movie because I could ignore it's not accurate to G.I. Joe. I could ignore all that if it was just a fun action movie and I could enjoy myself, but I couldn't because the action wasn't even good enough to do that. And what sucks about this movie too is I mentioned a lot of the performances were pretty good. Henry Golding, he was the star of Crazy Rich Asians, which I didn't think was great, but a lot of the performances in that were very charismatic and fun. I enjoyed that movie. I wasn't crazy about it like everybody else was. But what I enjoyed about that movie was the performances, like I said, and he does a great job as the character of Snake Eyes. The problem is completely just how the character is written and what he does throughout the movie. That is the issue with Snake Eyes. That is the issue with a lot of the characters within this movie. We do see some G.I. Joe characters. One they revealed in the trailers, the mid-credit scene, which is basically a scene where they reveal that the one character is Storm Shadow, which, again, it's in the trailer, so I warned you already. But, yeah, and then we see Scarlet in this movie, too. And what was really good about this movie in terms of the casting is I felt the casting was really great for every single one of these characters. They just are in the wrong movie. It was sad because I would like to see these versions of these characters again. I want to see these versions of these characters. Or no. I want to see these actors play these characters again. I don't want to see this version of these characters. I just want to see the actors play them because they were so good and perfect for the part. But now they did that, and I don't know how well this movie's going to do and if we're going to get a sequel. I don't really want a sequel because, again, this movie wasn't good. And I wonder, and no matter what they do with the sequel, it's still going to have to deal with the stink that is this movie. That was the problem with G.I. Joe Retaliation. G.I. Joe Retaliation heard the criticisms of the fans from the previous movie, and then they responded to them, and they dealt with them, but they were still dealing with the shit that the other movie had to deal with, and that was an issue. So, yeah, not a good movie. Very unfortunate. I should have a review for Old on Monday, so stay tuned for that. Just very disappointing. I wanted a better movie, but it just didn't happen that way, and I'm pretty unsatisfied with this film.